All right. I believe we're on. We're going to try this again. Seem to be picking up something now. So I'm here. I'm Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. I am the host of my podcast here, which is called Clear Blue Radiance. It's an opportunity to share some insight with you about how we go through our lives and have various experiences from the metaphysical to the spiritual down into quote unquote physical world. And usually this podcast runs for about 30 minutes. I had a little technical difficulty. I believe I'm getting some volume coming up right about now. So I'm going to make sure before I start to put myself through my phone. And as we are doing this, we're hoping that you're seeing me live. Okay. For all of you that whenever you do come in, kindly let me know that you can hear me. Because I can hear myself. Okay. Okay. What we're going to do today is that we're going to do this podcast. And so this is Clear Blue Radiance. Again, I am Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey, the host. I've been a spiritual counselor for approximately 45 plus years or more. And one of the things I'm always enjoying is being able to help people like yourself have greater clarity in your own life, as well as defining your purpose. And as we are consciously evolving all the time, the more we evolve, we see our purpose begins to change. And so the purpose we have, let's say when we're born early in our life, will change as we develop and mature spiritually for ourselves. So it's never really the same thing. It's always changing. Some people, if you're not pursuing to discover what your purpose is, that's okay too. Not everybody wants to know how their life will unfold. They would rather experience it as it goes along, and that's pretty cool too. But those of us in the spiritual metaphysical communities know with ourselves, when you do that, you're living and expecting things just to happen by default. It's like the same when you buy a laptop. If you have some problems with it, they will restore it back to the level of default. Whatever the basics were, that's what you get. You don't get all the other frills connected. You don't have all those other apps on there that you had put on there. It goes back to whatever the basic operating system offered. And so it's the same in your life. We have to make decisions, even if we don't want to. Even if we don't want to, that's a decision as well. And so we have to grow up more within ourselves, become more mature, and be willing to make decisions for ourselves. If you have partners that you share a home with, whatever decision you're coming up will somehow impact them equally. So you have to pay attention to what you're doing and how you're governing yourself. So today's topic is you can receive all that you desire when you open your mind and heart to infinite power of divine grace that dwells in you. So you have this infinite power of divine grace that dwells in you. And this is very important because you are doing what? You're seeking a way to change. Now, change isn't always good, or let's say it doesn't feel good when we're changing, right? We often notice that there's certain things going on in our lives that is causing us to have more ups and downs. So we don't feel like I don't want to make another change because then it could be a little exhausting. And then I have to somehow go about, good afternoon, Jackie. So I somehow have to go about doing something different. And often when we are going through that process, we feel hurried. We feel like we can't process fast enough. We feel like somehow we are feeling a little bit lost. Okay. And that can happen. You can feel lost at any time in your life. I mean, I'm not perfect at what I do, so I know what it's like to feel that vibration of feeling lost. And so we have to begin to understand and create for ourselves something that allows us to understand and see where we are headed in life. So I'm going to put this topic in here really fast because the first part says receive. You can receive all that you desire when you open your mind, right? Open your mind. I want to make sure I get everything spelled right here. And heart to infinite power of divine grace in you. And, and I know that's a pretty big topic line there, but I chose such a topic line so that um, if you look at it, look at the title, the message is there. It's not really hidden. So often we have these decisions to be made, and we have experiences happening to us throughout our life, and we're, according to how we're thinking, planning, and doing, we are sometimes coming in touch with a variety of opportunities that can help us see a better way to be more successful, and it affords us to even develop and have more of discernment as well happening in our life. So, one of the things, if we don't have an open mind, what happens? We have limited thinking, right? Then we get limited opportunities, okay, that come into our life. And what happens is we're striving basically to attract positive people, positive situations, positive partnerships, positive relationships, be it on the social, marital, business, personal, spiritual. We're striving to put these things in line for ourselves. And so many times we find it difficult to do that, and sometimes we feel like we missed an opportunity because I didn't get up out of the house and go to that job fair, or I didn't get up in time to play my lottery numbers, or I didn't do this, I didn't do that. But we have to begin to streamline down to what's really important for us to do. And no matter what we're striving to do, we're looking to be what? In a state of peace, harmony, and happiness with ourselves. We're trying to structure our lives in such a way so that we can experience peace, harmony, and happiness. So I'm going to break down the important words in here. One of the words is receive. That's Receive. Well, I found out that the word sieve, Ceive, is a Latin word, and that Latin word means to take. So when we're receiving something, we're taking something in. Now we might take it in repeatedly because we think that the re deals with repetition, but that that prefix re actually means reaching up for a higher ideal, seeing something higher up, a higher level. So we want to gather at a higher level of awareness. So that's very important. Then we hear and hear all you desire. So, what is a desire? A desire is a strong sensation, a strong feeling for something that you want. Well, I'll give you an example. I remember when I was a child, I saw a guitar in the window. I was a teenager and I wanted that guitar at a place called Sam Ash Music Shop. And they had them all over New York City and Long Island. And I really wanted to have that guitar. Well, after I showed it to my mom and dad, because they knew some of the people that worked there, my mom especially said, "Well, you're not getting that custom bodied guitar by that brand called Custom that looks like a blonde wood, and a double cutaway and solid at the bottom half and hollow at the top. You're not getting that unless you can show me you got some grades." I was going like, "I'm really trying though." She says, "Nah, some of your grades D's, some of your grades are almost going F. But if you could show me in this season that you can change," you're talking about my junior year, my sophomore and junior year in high school. And so I really, got my head down in the books, and I struggled with my French classes, always did that. Never had a good time with French. In fact, when I finally got my French grades to a C and I got into my senior year, I didn't have to take French because I took 3 years of it, and it was enough. And when I was in grade school, I had it for 2 years, seventh and eighth grade. That was enough. So, how did I know I would be living in a state where people speak Spanish? If I'd have known that, I would have gotten into the Spanish classes and really learned Spanish. But sometimes the children that were in the Spanish class, they were always the bad kids, so I didn't want to be there. But anyway, that's an example, right? We are looking for this opportunity, and it's something that we really, really want. And once I got on the ball and realized they weren't giving me that guitar that was going to cost about $500 and an amplifier that matches with another $500, that's $1,000. They were weighing. So I got busy, raised my grades, and I was a college prep major in high school. So I was really wanted to be an artist. So I strove. I maxed out all the art classes. I was getting A's, A pluses, taking the exams, and they would take us to field trips into the museum, and I write my notes down, and I was knocking out those exams, and it raised my English grade, and it raised my math grade a little bit too. I wasn't taking chemistry, or I wasn't doing what calculus and those and trigonometry classes. I was doing at least algebra and geometry, but I was maxing them out to B's and A's. So here I was averaging about an 85. That was my grade point average, basically. The last 2 years, 85 to 90, because of the art and all this other stuff. But I wanted that guitar, that amplifier. So I had to do that. And during the summer, I took summer school classes. I did everything my parents asked me to do. They had their own business. They had a building that they owned. So I was the guy that was sweeping between two buildings, the trash. I was sweeping in the back. I was cutting whatever little lawn that I could cut that was around the building. I was doing it. Now, I didn't have much friends because they couldn't see why, but they saw that when I hit my junior year and they saw me playing the parks with these bands, I had me $1,000 worth of equipment that I was using. So we have to take ourselves seriously sometimes and make certain maneuvers. We have to kind of look around to see where the opportunities are, because the opportunities present themselves all the time. We just may not recognize it yet. And one of the important things, I always follow the late Reverend Ike's teachings, and he was getting into the new thought through Neville Goddard and all these other people. One of the things he used to say, in order to get something that you want in your life, first, the very first thing you got to do is what? You must make a decision. I'm going to say it again. He would say, is if there's something that you truly want in your life, you're going to make a decision about it. He said, now, once you decide, it's like the universe, the heavens open up. All the gateways, all the doorways of accessibility begin to open up on your behalf. Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith says it this way: the universe is conspiring with you, not against you, but it starts to bring everything to you because you are connected through the brain. Synapses in your brain, the folds in your brain are like the folds of the universe, and you're entangled, right? You're entwined. So you're putting this thought, this intention out, and like a child, you're expecting it to what? Materialize into your life. You're expecting to see a lot of opportunities present themselves. So we got two words: receive. That means take in this information, taking the ideals that you hear me speak about and grasp them at a higher level. We have something within us consciously called the higher self. And on some level, it looks like us a little bit, but in the ethers, it's far different. It looks more like the planetary systems and stars and all of that energy. We capture it in the form of sacred geometry. That's the way that you can understand it. You just this light form with all of these designs of light and systems of light moving through you, and raiments of light and raiments of numbers and other symbols flowing through you. That's what you kind of really look like. But you know, you have this higher consciousness, and the higher consciousness we call the soul, and the soul is just another word for the higher self. So you have this higher self energy up here as well as in here. And however you feel in the heart about your higher self is how you're going to see the higher self. So as you raise your awareness and you delve into the remembrance of your true self, which is your higher self, which is that conscious side walking around in and out of the different zones of reality, you have some level of consistency. So when you desire, yeah, it's something that you really want inside. And what happens is it's not only the strong feeling, strong sensation, but your emotions get involved. You get excited because you remembered, hey, I wanted that dress, I wanted those shoes, I wanted that purse, I wanted the bracelet, I wanted the ring, I wanted the musical instrument, I wanted the violin, I wanted that used car, that new car. You start seeing all these things, and what do you see along the way? You start seeing the possibilities. One day I taught a course about in 2006. I started teaching a course that's in one of my books back here. It's in this book here called Dancing in the Light of Divine Grace. And in that book, I talked about uh, the heart of manifestation, the desire to be able to manifest things based on your thoughts and your feelings and your intentions. And when all those things come together, you start figuring out. In fact, I'm going to pull the newest one. It's a newer, not a new version, but it's new nonetheless. And so when you start to realize it, you realize that it's not difficult at all because you're coming into an opportunity. The chapter in this book of mine was called The Art of Manifesting Your Heart's Desires. Same thing here. So once you know what it is that you want to do, and we always say, people say the shadow work. You got to work on those little parts of yourself that are sticking out like a sore thumb, like a thorn on a rose bush, right? You got to sand that all down. You got to get all those points smooth. You got to get them out of your system. You got to change the way you're thinking so that you're not thinking negatively. You don't feel negative about anything. And even if someone comes onto your path and says something to you, oh, that's not going to work. Why are you always dreaming about that stuff? I never see you manifest. Just because they don't see you manifest what you want in your heart and in your mind, because once these two become truly aligned to each other, then it begins to come forward. You start walking in a completely different rhythm. You start feeling differently. You wake up feeling differently. You start telling others by demonstration. In other words, you're not going around and say, "Look at me! I manifested this car. I meant it. I played triple threes and I hit it 3 times in 2 months." You're not saying that. What you're saying is, I know that there's something there for me. I can see it. I can smell it. I can taste it. I can feel it before it comes to me. and it's right around me. It's not way out there. It's not 95 million light years away. It's right here. So we start to get excited, you see. So when we say you can receive what? You can receive anything that your heart desires, meaning anything that you desire to have in your life happening for you. Then you say an open mind, open your mind. That means overcome limited thinking. Your brain is an organ of consciousness that allows you to what? To think, to draw up images in your mind. Let me say that again. When you have it says open your mind. That means to overcome limited thinking. And the physical brain is an organ of consciousness. And what is in that consciousness? We call it the mind. And what's in the mind are all these attributes, all these things that you can do that are replicas and extensions in an infinite format of the universe reflected in here. When you say open heart, that means don't cut off your feelings. Don't cut off what you're sensing. Why? Because the heart is a conscious organ that can attract. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I learned many years ago, someone said that when the sperm and the egg get formed inside the mother, when that child is being formulated, the first thing that forms is not the brain. The first thing that forms is the physical heart. And that heart is the brain all into itself. It's got its own chambers all into itself. It's interesting, right? I think the heart has what, about four chambers? You got a right half and a left half, a back part of your head and a front part of your head. Which one of them is aligned to that? Sending up charges of energy and light and awareness and feeling. So here's the other part now. Because it says in the title, you can receive all that you desire when you open your heart, or open your mind and heart to what? Infinite power of divine grace that dwells in you. Now, what did I put that? I have a newsletter that I always put that out. And there's one of the three parts of the newsletter that I put out every month, right? With a 1 year subscription or a 6 year. It's called Two Bears. And the first third of it is called the three sections. The first section is called The Infinite Power of Divine Grace. So, what is divine grace? A lot of you hear me talk about it in my meditations. You hear me write about it in my blogs on my website. If you've gotten charts and readings from me, you hear me mention it all the time. It's not just grace in something. Grace in something is making it possible for you to receive something unmerited. I mean, you didn't have to go call for it, write for it. It's just there. But here's what divine, when I say that it's divine grace, it is a celestial essence. Celestial. I mean, it belongs to the celestial worlds, far bigger than you, far bigger than the earth. It's the celestial essence of the divine I am presence that we call God. So the author of the universe, the governor of the universe, the creator of the universe. We are co creating with the creator of the universe. This is the divine I am presence, and it exists inside of us, up here in the heavens, and then here within the body. As above, so below. As without, so within. So we are experiencing this all the time. We are seeking ways to feel better. We're seeking ways to live better. We're seeking ways to what? Live within the realm of consciousness where there's peace, harmony, and happiness, where we're not thinking about anything. You know, you're not in competition with anybody. There amongst you, you got family members that want to compete. How much money are you making? This is how much money I'm making. Yeah. What do they do with their money? Some of them are blowing their money on things they don't need. Hey, look, I've been in situations where I make money and I blow money, waste money. And now I'm older, I'm saying, you got to save money. But guess what? I don't worry about it. Money is a source of energy. It's a currency. That's why I call it a currency. It's a form of energy that gets passed around. That's why you hear people talking about we got to do a double E, an exchange, an energy exchange. Well, if you're comfortable with that energy exchange, then you can do it. Some people say, oh, it's not always about money. Well, sometimes it is. Why? Because we're dealing in a world where money is issued out to purchase food, to purchase gas in your car. Good afternoon there, Linda. So there's a lot of things that you find yourself doing all the time. I said a little earlier, it's just like if you're striving to do something, but you don't do certain things you need to do so that you can qualify yourself for different situations, then you accept whatever's out there by default. Your computer comes like that, your laptop and your desktop, and your phone. You got a mobile phone on you, your cell phone. It has a default program in there. And what is that? It has just the basics, the bare basics, operating system of your iPhone or your Android phone. However, it's operating, it has the bare essentials, meaning you can make a phone call, you can send out a text, you can receive a phone call, you can receive a text, you can take pictures with your phone. You got a notebook or an iPad. You can take pictures. You can put Google Maps on there, and you can find out a map live where to go to a certain situation. So all these things are possible. Well, it's all based on us. It's all based on this and this. People have figured it out how to make these two come together so that you can function. We chose a physical body consciously before we showed up. Why? Because on this plane, you need this kind of earth suit to walk around in. And in others, you need more garment. And in others, you don't need any. But in the end, it's all light, it's all energy, and it's all conscious. And it thinks for itself. Henceforth, you got artificial intelligence trying to make the robot give you an expression that's similar to a human expression and think like you think and move like you move and do and communicate or whatever. But you're beyond that, the beyond. You're beyond anything that's robotic because it's based on you. The only thing you're not beyond is the light that keeps coming to you, through you, and from you. And that light is consistent. And we know there's certain things we have to do, right? So that we can feel fulfilled or know that we're filling up. But the whole idea is like Bruce Lee used to say, what do you have in front of you? A full glass of water? Well, you can't get nothing in there. But if you got a half a glass of water, you can always load something in there. You can always add. So the body, the mind, must be the same. It must be open in the mind and open in the heart so that you can receive. It is the same as your hand. If your hands are closed, can't put anything in there but a pencil or a pen, a toothpick or a twig. But if the hand is open, you can receive and then you can grasp, you can hold on and you can offer and you can share. Well, the mind has to be open and the heart has to be open, but they must be opened up onto the same page, the same frequency of energy. If they are not, there will be confusion, nothing more but confusion. So, this is important to grasp this level of understanding. If we're not allowing ourselves to be open, we will not receive anything. We will not be able to see anything. Do you know that sometimes you can go to a medical practitioner and they find absolutely nothing wrong with you? I remember one time when I had eczema so bad, my skin was as dark as the dark side on a spot around my screen. And this is when I was in my 30s. But guess what? I had to turn it all around. So I started going to dermatologists, and they would look at my skin on my shin, on the back of my hands, and on my arms, and over here and here. They would say, "What kind of place do you work at?" Bing! I worked at a botanica, as they call it, candle shop, herb shop, do readings. And I was in there with all these people who weren't thinking positive, including the owners. I was the only one in there struggling to be positive, working to find myself. So, what did I do? After leaving that doctor's office down the road, walking back, feeling a little down, almost teary eyed, like, how am I going to get out of this? Bing, light bulb came on. Meditation. I had to go back to when I was in college, 1971, freshman, middle of my freshman year, going out into woods to meditate. In my senior year, 1973 to 1974, I was learning Tai Chi. When I got out, I was going into the parks to practice Tai Chi. So every day when I got off work, building the place closed up at 6 o'clock, I didn't have a car. I'd start walking. I'd walk home and then I'd walk across the street in the area that I lived, or a major roadway, and go down into the state park and just do meditation and Tai Chi every day, even when it was drizzling. But guess what? It broke up negative energy, the meditation, and doing the Tai Chi and putting them together. The meditation and the Tai Chi, doing them together, doing the form really slow, meditating. People would ride by and say, "Hey, that's Kung Fu." It didn't matter what they were saying. What mattered what I was doing, and what was I getting from it. And one day it clicked. It clicked into place. I began to receive an understanding about what Tai Chi truly is and what Tai Chi Chuan is truly about. I began to take it from a higher source, a higher sense of remembrance and awareness. I started paying attention to nature. I started attending classes in the city. To a point, I thought I got thrown out of the class. But the master teachers of Tai Chi said, and they were all Asian, this being able to prepare you to do Kumite style boxing with the Tai Chi, it's not for you. And a visiting instructor from China said, "You're a healer." He said it in the Cantonese or Mandarin language, had his son interpret to me. And both teachers, friends of each other, they said, "You need to go out into nature and let nature show you." And it's come back in 6 months, and we'll see if you should be in this class. Did it for 6 months in nature. When I couldn't get outside, I would wait for my landlord to and his wife not to be at home. Then I would go outside in the backyard and I'd practice. And I lived in a basement apartment, so I would be down that little stairwell down there practicing in the basement, doing it over and over and over. It's the same when you desire something, you're going to do it over and over and over because you willfully want to what? Change how you see yourself, change how you think about yourself, change how you're being about yourself. And that's essential to what? Your well being. And when I began to do that every day, 6 years later, I wasn't even thinking, but I stumbled upon the school, Grandmaster William C.C. Chen's Tai Chi Chuan, Yang style. Didn't have an elevator. You had to climb the 6 steps, so 12 sets of stairs, right, to get to the top. He was there. I said, "Grandmaster, do you remember me?" He said, "Oh, yeah, I remember you. How are you doing?" I said, I'm doing okay." He said, "Remember that day, if you can, when you and Master BP Chang told me not a part of the class and go away for 6 months?" He said, "Yeah." I said, I know it's been 10 months because now it's summertime. Can I show you something? And I began to show him, you know, the way he was showing me, but I was showing him something different. And he said, those postures that you're doing, the ancients taught those postures. How did you get those postures? In a book? I said, no, Grandmaster. I was in the woods. And all of a sudden, I saw something. Now, Grandmaster William C.C. Chen, he didn't believe in mystical stuff, but he realized the way I was explaining it to him that something happened to me. So I walked out into the court. Now, I couldn't keep up with him in the push hands. I couldn't do that. But there were certain things I was doing that he was aware that I was blocking him. And he stopped and he said, you need to go back into the woods. I'm saying, like, again? He said, no. He says, you're learning. The woods love you. You relaxed your mind and let your body dictate internally how to do the form. You are doing things that people don't get until they spend 10 years. No, you're not a fighter. You are a healer. And my advice to you, Francis, is to willfully now, joyfully now, go back. And guess what? You will start to teach people the things that you're learning. And it's all Tai Chi. It's all Tai Chi. You will gravitate people who box with the martial arts, but they don't have the peace that you are on to offer them. So I realized there was graduation. This teaching is talking about you're preparing yourself to graduate. You're preparing yourself to graduate from your mundane thinking ego side to step in and embrace your higher self. Well, how will I know if I'm embracing the higher self? Well, the higher self has always been with you. It didn't go anywhere. The higher self lives in you. It didn't go anywhere. The higher self lives around you. It didn't go anywhere. Wherever you go, there it is. Your higher self is a reflection of the divine I am presence around you and in you. So wherever you go, it is. That's why people use that phrase, wherever I go, God is. It's functioning at all times. You just have to open up the mind and heart and allow yourself to what? To become more aware, more sensitive. Because when you become more sensitive, your discernment changes. It gets tweaked. You'll start seeing people in the manner that you're supposed to see them. Yeah, you'll see them. They are divine beings just like you are, but you can see if they're on track or off track. And guess what? People's animals will see that, hey, you carrying something. I want to sniff you out. I want to hang out with you. And you start understanding because communication exists between all beings in this world. There's not one being who cannot communicate with you. When you hit the right frequency for yourself, you begin to open unknown doors and they become known doors to you. So your goal is to become one in your consciousness so your consciousness can accelerate and ascend. But like Dr. Michael Beckwith says, don't worry about ascension. Worry about becoming a descended master. And what that means is master the physical body, master your own world. When you can master some part of your emotions, where you no longer get angry anymore, you no longer say something that's hurtful anymore to others or yourself. You learn to like, I'm waking up today and something tells me not to go for a ride. Something tells me to stay home. Or you wake up and you hear, I need to get out of the house at a certain time. I need to be at a certain place because something's waiting for me to purchase or told or to be told something. Or I'm supposed to say something to someone else. You are changing. Your mind is changing. Your body is changing. Some people gain weight because they're gathering more information, and then it they process it, and then they kind of fall back to the right weight again. Sometimes you go to a doctor and they say, I don't know what's going on with you. Your heart is fine, your blood pressure is fine. Yeah, you might have these other things with your teeth and all, go to the dentist for that, but your blood pressure is fine. You're processing well. Your body is not holding on to anything. Your kidneys are balanced. Your liver is balanced. Your pancreas is balanced. Your liver is balanced because you're not angry anymore. That's why. You make certain changes. You start to balance your life, and there's no more kidney stones, no more kidney problems. You begin to keep yourself evacuated or clear as a bell. There's no more constipation. You're not holding on. You're learning to let go. It's okay. It is all right to let go. But when you let go, you let the divine emissary within you, known as the I am presence, come forward and speak through you. And you realize that all things come in harmony with each other. So your goal is to recognize that deep on the inside of you, you have what is called the infinite power. Power is the result of force. Force is connected to the I am presence. Force you don't often feel, but you can see. And sometimes you don't see it, neither do you feel it. You just know it's present. It's in the now. So I wanted to share that message today with you. You can become or you can receive all that you desire because you're longing for something. And you will receive that which you're longing for. But when it comes, you're asking for it to come at a higher level of awareness and remembrance and consciousness. And then you finally have a breakthrough and you realize it's all about the I am presence. That's why there's that phrase that goes, I am that I am. And your higher self goes, I am that I am. It points back to you. You're one and the same. So I'm going to end it there. I'm going to go out and have some fun. I seem to bring everything up to date with myself. If you're ever in the area here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, we have various courses and classes here for Resident Essentials. You can go online to Resident Essentials, the group, on Facebook and become a member so you can know what's going on. We have lots of practitioners, and you can connect with Michelle Vidal, the owner of Resident Essentials, it's a esoteric and metaphysical school. And so many of us are there. You know, I'm there as a practitioner teacher. I teach meditation every Saturday morning from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and the fee is just $10. Just a basic $10. But it's feedback. I have anywhere from 4 to 9 people at a time in there teaching, and it's a way to help you understand yourself and get involved with the different states of mind through meditation so that you can become more aware of your surroundings and more aware of who you are. Resident Essentials is located here on the northeast side of Albuquerque, of the city of Albuquerque, which is huge, at 3107 Eubank Boulevard Northeast, Suite number 34, within the Scottsdale Shopping Village, which is across the street on Eubank. Across Eubank runs north and south, north of Candelaria Boulevard, northeast, and it's opposite of Silva Bowling Lanes. Silva Bowling Lanes is opposite the entrance. So that's on the east side heading north, and we're on the west side heading south. And you'll see this big placard with a clock, and it says 3107. You make a right turn, you'll drive past Chili Chicken or Nashville Chicken, they call it. You'll see the parking lot open up, and that building that's approaching you on your left hand side has black trim and dark green. That's where Resident Essentials is located. You can go to the website www.resonant RESONANT essentials ESSENTIALS.com. You can go there, right, to the website. You'll see practitioners. Click on that. You'll see all the practitioners and what they do and when they are available at the center. There's a calendar that it opens up to, and you can see that as well. It's open Tuesdays through Saturday, usually about 12 p.m. up until about 5 p.m., unless there's some special events going on. We usually have a psychic fair every second Sunday, but the second Sunday in May, which is the 14th, is Mother's Day. So we'll be there on Sunday, May the 21st, free admission from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. You can get a reading or a healing session or one of my drawing sessions, which is my Celestial I Am drawings. You can get my drawings for $30 for about 30 minutes. Most of the readings are $20 for 20 minutes or $1 a minute. And so you might want to check us out. Just come on down. Or maybe we have some vendors in there as well. A couple of vendors are usually there. We got about 8 or 9 practitioners or more doing readings there. So you might want to come down and meet us. If you like what you see here on Resident Essentials YouTube channel, click like and also click subscribe, and then you can stay up, click the bell so you get a personal notification when someone is on here. We have Johanna Rader. She's our resident astrologer with Orbital Astrology, and so she broadcasts through here usually on a Sunday at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is about 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you get some good astrological information. Okay, so I look forward to hearing from you. You can always email me, Brother Francis, Revels-Bey at iam.circleofgrace1 at gmail.com to get some updates, or go to my website, which is circleofgrace1.us, and put a single forward slash there so nothing else gets added on, and you can check out the various things that I'm doing. May you have a pleasant rest of your day and evening, a wonderful Friday coming up, and a great Saturday and Sunday. And until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you soon. I should be back here next Thursday at about 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Take care now.